Michel Foucault's Discipline and Punish, published in 1975, is a seminal text in the field of modern social theory. In it, Foucault traces the historical development of punishment, from the brutal public executions of the pre-modern period to the more subtle, insidious forms of discipline that emerged in the modern era. His analysis focuses not just on how punishment has changed, but also on how power operates in modern society, particularly through institutions like prisons, schools, and hospitals. Foucault's work draws on a variety of historical sources, and his ideas have had a profound impact on disciplines ranging from sociology to political science to philosophy. The spectacle of punishment. Foucault begins by contrasting the old, spectacular forms of punishment with the more hidden, bureaucratic methods that characterize the modern penal system. In pre-modern societies, punishment was often a public affair, with executions, torture, and other forms of bodily mutilation taking place before large crowds. This was not simply about delivering justice, but about demonstrating the sovereign's power. The monarch, or in the case of the Catholic Church, the Pope, symbolized divine and earthly authority, and punishment was a way of maintaining order and obedience through fear. For example, in the year 1757, the regicide of Louis XV's assassin, Robert François Damiens, involved his body being torn apart by horses in a public square, the shift from public to private. However, by the 19th century, these dramatic displays of punishment had largely disappeared, replaced by more restrained, institutional forms of discipline. Foucault argues that this shift reflects a broader change in how power operates. Rather than focusing on the body, modern punishment targets the mind and soul, seeking to reform the individual through surveillance and control. The prison, which became the dominant form of punishment in the modern period, is central to this transformation. Foucault analyzes the architecture of prisons, particularly the panopticon, a model prison designed by the English philosopher Jeremy Bentham in the late 18th century. In the panopticon, inmates are constantly visible to guards, even though they cannot see the guards themselves. This creates a sense of permanent surveillance, encouraging self-discipline among prisoners. Discipline and power. For Foucault, the rise of the prison is part of a broader disciplinary society that emerged in the 18th and 19th centuries. In this new form of society, power is exercised not through overt violence or spectacle, but through the constant surveillance, normalization, and regulation of individuals. This kind of power operates in a wide range of institutions, including schools, factories, hospitals, and military barracks. In these spaces, individuals are trained to be productive and obedient, not through fear of punishment, but through subtle forms of control. Foucault points out that this shift corresponds to the rise of capitalism and the need to manage large, productive populations in a way that would maximize efficiency and minimize resistance. The birth of the prison. Foucault's analysis of the prison traces its origins to the late 18th century, particularly in the aftermath of the French Revolution of 1789. Before this period, imprisonment was often used as a temporary measure, a way to hold individuals before their punishment was decided. But by the early 19th century, prisons had become the primary means of punishment in many countries. Foucault argues that this shift was not just about reforming criminals, but about creating a new kind of individual who would be productive, obedient, and self-regulating. The prison thus became a key institution in the broader system of discipline that emerged in modern society. The role of knowledge and power. A central theme in Discipline and Punish is the relationship between knowledge and power. Foucault argues that the rise of modern disciplinary institutions was accompanied by the development of new forms of knowledge, particularly in the fields of medicine, psychology, and criminology. These disciplines sought to classify, study, and reform individuals, providing the scientific justification for the new systems of punishment and control. In the process, they helped to create new categories of people, such as the criminal, the insane, and the deviant. Foucault calls this the power-knowledge relationship, highlighting how knowledge is never neutral, but always linked to systems of power and control. The transformation of the individual. In Foucault's view, modern disciplinary institutions are not just about punishing or controlling people, but about transforming them. Schools, for example, teach children to conform to certain norms of behavior, rewarding those who obey and punishing those who deviate. Hospitals and psychiatric institutions do the same for the sick and mentally ill, while factories and military barracks regulate the behavior of workers and soldiers. In each of these cases, individuals are subjected to constant surveillance, evaluation, and correction, with the goal of making them more efficient, productive, and obedient members of society. This process of normalization is central to Foucault's understanding of modern power. Critique of the penal system. Foucault's critique of the penal system is not limited to the prison itself, but extends to the broader systems of justice and law that support it. He argues that modern systems of punishment are not about delivering justice or reforming criminals, but about maintaining control over populations. In this sense, the prison is not an aberration, but a logical extension of the same disciplinary mechanisms that operate in other institutions. Foucault points out that the modern penal system often fails to rehabilitate criminals, instead creating a cycle of recidivism in which individuals are trapped in the system. He also highlights the ways in which the penal system disproportionately targets marginalized groups, particularly the poor and racial minorities. The legacy of Foucault's work. Since its publication, Discipline and Punish has had a profound impact on a wide range of fields, including sociology, criminology, political theory, and cultural studies. Foucault's ideas about power, discipline, and surveillance have been used to analyze everything from the rise of modern capitalism to the functioning of the contemporary state. His work has also been influential in debates about prison reform, human rights, and the criminal justice system. Foucault's insights into the ways in which power operates in modern society remain relevant today, particularly in the context of debates about mass incarceration, police brutality, and the surveillance state. In Discipline and Punish, Michel Foucault offers a powerful critique of the modern penal system, showing how it reflects broader changes in the way power is exercised in society. His analysis of the shift from public, bodily punishment to more subtle, insidious forms of discipline highlights the ways in which modern institutions seek to control and regulate individuals. Foucault's work continues to be influential, offering important insights into the functioning of modern power and its impact on individuals and society.